let's get all this shit together so we're not just walking around the shop looking for tools that we can't find.
Wes, back to another John Doc YouTube channel video. We have Matt here.
Look at this. We got Matt from
First Performance Solutions.
Working on another blue Mustang.
I see a pattern here.
Is that what it is? So you guys, if you guys pay attention to the videos, you guys know Matt. He is with the Vendetta car. That's the small block Ford powered, well, I guess we could just call it No Time Mustang.
Yes.
Very, very loose on details there. We're not going to get into it. And we brought him in. He's helping us out here. You hooked me up with some stuff for the Black Sheep.
Yep. Put a Davis Technologies VPS on it, so hopefully we get some good data with that. I'm going to do rear shock travel. Pretty much all the things that help it go fast quicker. So we'll be able to go to the track, interpret the data, and make changes we need to really get after it.
I would say I was never really hot on data.
No, you know.
I like to fly blind a lot.
Yes. Blind flying.
Hey, Phil.
Keep it down.
Hey, can you get a louder hammer? I swear, for someone who builds cars, you use a hammer a hell of a lot.
You see that big ass red box he's got over there? It only has an adjustable and a hammer in it.
From Harbor Bridge.
So we're gonna have to do a whole nother video talking about the VPS and I guess we can't reveal all the secrets, but it's a very useful drag racing tool.
Yes, we'll go over the setup in the HOLLEY and how it can be used for wheelie control or some safety features. So if you have a pneumatic parachute launcher or release, you can set it up to where if the car had a high pitch yaw weight rate, it would deploy the parachute. So, you know. So
for everyone at home that has no idea what he's talking about, if the car gets sideways, it will notice it and throw the parachute.
Yes. So instantly, because when you're driving, you get a lot of things going on, and by the time you're sideways, you don't really think like grab a parachute instantly. So.
Yeah, when I about touched the wall at Shady Side, it took me like I went a little bit ways through the shutdown before I actually was able to put my hand up there and throw the chute.
Yep. So something like that, it catches it, especially the wheelie. You know, any of those situations where that could potentially, if the car's sideways and you pull the chute, sometimes it can straighten the car out. You know, that might save it, and you have a split second for that to happen. And letting the HOLLEY do it, or any ECU that is capable of that, you know, it really it gives another level of safety for the driver. Awesome.
Well, unfortunately, we won't have one of those on old Charlie Murphy here, but we were getting it all tuned up for the dyno. And you guys remember last time we were on the dyno, we had a fuel pump. We didn't really have a fuel pump issue, but we were running out of fuel. I did find a kink in the fuel line, so I kind of got it like straightened out here. I'd say the kink went from about like 70% to like, I don't know. We got like, I'd say we have 95% fuel flow through there, which is, you know, what, like a 15%? I don't know. My math could be wrong. Who knows? I don't know. I didn't go to college for math. Yeah, so instead of adding another fuel pump, because I don't know why you'd add another fuel pump.
No.
I mean, that'd just be blasphemy. We're going to add a booster pump, and we're just make this little 750 here work as hard as it can, and we're going for another internet record for the world's fastest MagnaFuel 750 self-tappered to like a fuel tank cover running on E85 in a blue Mustang. That's what we're going for.
It's kind of teal to me, but it's what.
I mean, teal, blue, potato.
I can't believe you did a booster pump over Most Plus.
Don't listen.
You know,
I do love Most Plus. They're one of my best companies that don't sponsor me. I just happen to have like 80 pumps here because they're $40 pop.
Exactly.
So if you're at home and you don't have a booster pump, we got this off of Chris's twin turbo Mustang because he added like a triple pump system, and it was sitting around, and I was like, oh, well, might as well just put the booster pump on there. So as you can see, we got it mounted with two self tappers, which is very secure. And all this really does, so these guys don't know what a boost pump is, it's going to increase voltage, make this thing work a whole lot harder. We cut the trigger wire off of it, which would be if you were going to put that on like a hob switch. So generally, I'd say people put these on their car, like our boosted applications, add a fuel pump, or like they just need a little bit more. And when it sees like 5 pounds or whatever their hob switch is set for, it kicks on.
Yeah, just a buffer, so that way it's not running continuously. But this thing's built to party, so it's going to run wide open all the time.
Do you think this thing will sound a whole lot louder?
Yes.
Will it?
It will sound angry. Angry.
People are gonna be like, damn, is that new 10 gallon a minute? I'm like, no. It's gonna be like, what would it be? Do we know how much it multiplies it?
I think 18 volts
Yeah, anywhere from 18 to 20 volts.
So-
typically, so yeah, it's jacked up.
Do we have a proper calculation to go from like a MagnaFuel 750? Would this be like a MagnaFuel like
950.
950? Not quite 1,000, but we'll call it the 950.
It's like roids.
All right. I mean, I like it. We were only running out of fuel at 20 pounds of boost at like 7,000 RPM, so we might be able to push it a little bit more.
And it wasn't like falling hard. I mean, you're dropping 10, 12 pounds, which ain't much.
It was messing up my learn table, so I was struggling to copy and paste.
Copy and paste the smooth button.
Copy, paste, and smooth. That is John Doc tuning.
Don't forget the up arrow.
And the up arrow. Those three things, copy, paste, up arrow, I can tune anything. What we got to do for wiring is, my wiring skills have been revoked, so Matt is kind enough here. Matt's a very good wirer. He brought his whole toolbox of wiring stuff, eyelets.
That was a fishing box.
Yeah, no, he's not fishing.
Before we went fishing.
No, he's not fishing. He's over here just wiring the shit out of things. And we have to run a ground. We have power in and power out. Like I said, we cut the trigger wire. So we're going to get this on there. We're going to get this thing right over the dyno and start making some pulls. Also, another upgrade we got is we got a set of Pro Bracket radials. Funny story, these are Turbo John's old Pro Brackets. He sold them to one of the guys that we raced with, Sammy. And Sammy, I think, ran them once, so they're full of water. We're going to have to get that out of there hopefully by tomorrow. He ran them a couple times and got rid of them. So no better tires than when you're a third owner. Those are going to work great. I think we're going to go to Streetcar Takeover, Rockingham, and we're going to run the small tire class. Complete class filler. I mean, we have yet to go 5s with this thing, but...
You never know, because you can't put a lot of power down at Rockingham, though.
Yeah,
so.
I know. And Streetcar Takeover at Rockingham, kind of like an oddball event. Didn't really see that coming, but just like this car, we're ready to party.
And there's going to be a lot of people at the 252 list race, so there might not be that many small tire cars there.
And honestly, I'm not going out there to win. All I'm trying to do is I'm going to run a 5, and I'm going to give this thing away.
No, we're going out there to win.
Are we? Are we going out to win? I don't know.
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
All right. Well, we're going to get this thing wired. Look at this. Whoever wins this, just know, right? Know this. I didn't build this car. I just fixed a couple things on there. But this booster pump wiring is probably going to be one of the nicest wiring jobs on the car. I mean, he's putting heat shrink on it. I mean, look at this.
We're going all out.
We are going all out. Also, we got some major progress on the bad apple over here. Ben and Matt have been plugging away on it. Ben, how are you doing? What's going on? Since we checked in last, we have a fuel pump on there and a bunch of lines run. And you guys have tore the interior out of the car and are working on wiring a bunch of stuff.
I mean, it was a nightmare to get out. So many bolts in these screws.
Yeah.
Now there's 2 bolts holding the dash in.
2 bolts holding the entire
2
dash in.
self-tappers.
So that thing almost laid in someone's lap.
Yeah. But who knows how many people ago put the dash in.
Yeah. For those of you guys wondering, that was the original color of the car before it was red. That the dash or that dash bar's painted. So we're chipping away on this thing. A lot of progress being made. Converting a lot of stuff over. We went from that 8.2 deck to this 8.2 deck. So we're going from one 8.2 deck to the next, and it's on alcohol. Fuel system up front, clear view filter, system 1 oil filter. Got the coils mounted.
Look at all this. The work in here is like the cage and stuff is like really nice.
Oh yeah.
You can see it's not in that
Oh
corner.
yeah. Look at that. Very nice.
And that cross member.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. Well, we're gonna get the boost pump on there. We'll let you guys get a sound clip of how awesome this pump sounds, and then we're gonna get back on the dyno, and we're gonna start making some horsepower. Change the fuel line up. I put a Y here, so just in case this isn't enough, I can put a Most Plus on there, and we can still get it done. So we'd have like the most ridiculous fuel system ever, where it'd be MagnaFuel 750 hopped up to the 950 per the booster pump and a Most Plus. Can I run 2 pumps off of one booster pump? Can I split like this wire and run it to both? Like increase the voltage.
You'd have to see what the amperage rating would be for the booster pump. If it'll handle the amps, which Most Plus probably pulls a ridiculous amount.
Then we'd probably just run on alcohol at that point.
I mean, we've run an alcohol Most Plus setup.
Yeah, we had a 750 and 3 Most Pluses, and we ran it on alcohol, and that made like damn near 1,000 horsepower. So it can be done, folks.
Yeah, so we're probably on this one, we're going to do 100% ethanol, and then you'll have a little ball valve inside the car so you can just fill your cup up.
But I mean, it's looking good here. We're going to get this wired up, and then we'll fire it up for you. And just know, guys, if you guys see wires hanging down, we're not doing it because like we're we're not taking pride in this. We want people to know that this has got a badass booster pump under it.
Yeah, it's not a fast car unless you see the fuel pump under the bumper.
And the wiring.
Yes,
you gotta see
the wiring.
Yeah, you gotta see the fuel pump wiring as well. And we can all agree, if this thing does pull a wheel and go after the bumper, we are going to have a massive spill because it is going to probably rip this fitting right out of the bulkhead and rip all the fuel line right out the car.
Yes, magna fuel of fuel.
Yeah, it's going to be everywhere. Imagine this thing laying on the track still pumping. Like, it's just hung
How
up.
pissed would you be if you were out working at the track having to clean that up?
God, brutal. But hey, it's the price you pay when you party.
That is right.
Yes. Teamwork makes the dream work. We got Wes holding George's tip. George is leaking all over the place.
George about spilled the shit everywhere.
What? So, why did we drain the fuel out of this thing
Well,
to put a boost pump on it?
that,
Okay,
Safety
guys.
reasons.
Originally, I was going to put another fuel pump on there, and I didn't have the proper fittings, so I drained the tank. How much fuel did I spill on the ground earlier?
all of it.
We had 10 gallons, and we got like 5 gallons right now. But we're getting there. Can I key it on right now? You think it's enough fuel just to see?
Oh yeah, we do.
Let's just see.
hear it.
Here, Wes, go flip on the first Holley switch to turn the pumps on. Oh my God! That thing is like twice. All right, flip it again. Yeah.
You hear that?
You
That's the sound of horsepower.
you literally hear it. Like
Ramps up.
oh my God, that's hilarious. That sounds way more stout. It really does.
Put a scramble on your fuel pump.
Yeah, that's exactly what we did. I am excited. I'm gonna put the rest of that fuel in there and then take it right over the dyno after I rip a burnout.
About to make a whole lot of power.
We're about to make a whole lot of power. I wonder how, is that like, it's gotta be like a 15% increase,
At least.
at least, just off the ear.
Yeah, I would say, judging by the ear, yeah,
At least, Ben, you agree 15% increase in power? I mean, at least.
Wait till the alternator's running.
Are you about to fire it up? Make sure it's in park. We've had this issue before.
Yeah, that killed
Listen to it. Oh, it's pissed. That thing is pissed. It's making some serious horsepower. That pump's making some horsepower.
That's 65 pounds of fuel pressure.
More than 7, more than 4.
God, it's running like a top. All right, guys, I'm gonna get this over to the dyno, and we'll pick up where we left off. We'll do like a couple baseline, like medium boost pulls, and then we'll turn it up and see what it makes. And I won't do it right going that way. No, I'm talking about like right here.
Do it
Like, I was
right
this
here.
close to- no, they've been
Oh, they're moving it. Look, they're moving it for you.
They've been working on that thing like all day, and I'm not gonna do a burnout and like throw rocks at them.
Right.
Because there are rocks.
Well, you know, if you swept the shop
Listen to this
up.
pump. Listen to this pump. He's getting it, Bo. sounds great in here, guys. Fan, great. That thing didn't even get over like 120 degrees. I mean, this thing is just pure muscle.
Hey, you picked up every piece of pine straw in the driveway.
Exactly.
God, I didn't even
Look at your curb feelers.
I didn't even think of that.
I'm dead.
Red whiskers.
Well, dude, how smooth does this thing do burnouts? I was tired of the bugs and shit in here, and we just solved that real quick. All right, so here's our strategy. I have no idea what I'm doing tuning. Listen, I wouldn't say I got no idea what I'm doing tuning. I've learned how to use the software from HOLLEY to, I feel like, do what a lot of people do when they say tuning. I literally just like have a decent target air fuel, let the HOLLEY do its thing. Every once in a while, copy and paste gets a little bit closer. But I had this fuel pressure issue. So like essentially, as it makes more power, fuel pressure goes up because it's boost reference, and as fuel pressure goes up, the pump flow
Goes down.
Pump flow goes down. So I was running out of fuel pump, and like 20 pounds of boost higher up in the RPMs. Fuel pressure was dropping, so then the HOLLEY corrects in the duty cycle, the injectors goes up. So like when you copy and paste that, it kind of messes everything up. It's not ideal. If you're running out of fuel pump, you really need to get that like fixed.
Yeah, you
Because
can have skewed readings because it's going to assume that the fuel pressure is constant. So whenever your injector duty cycle goes up, everything in the pound per hour will be off because it's assuming that it needs more pound per hour, but it's really just due to the low fuel pressure issue.
and you could kind of tell like the map doesn't look good.
Yeah, you'll see where you start just adding a lot of fuel. So there's a few different things you can do. So if you have a large enough injector, you can lower your base duty so your pump pressure isn't so high. So like if you ran, there's a few different ways. So if you had a small injector and you wanted to try to make it flow like a larger injector, you could run higher pump pressure if you had enough pump. But if you're in his instance where you don't have enough pump, you can lower your pump pressure and then run more injector duty cycle. So it's kind of a band-aid, but now hopefully we got enough fuel pressure to do what we want to do.
Yeah, so that's the plan. Is we're gonna correct that, make sure we got good, we got enough fuel flow like up at the higher. And we were only at the track. We were running like 18, 19 pounds of boost. It went 113 on like 18 pounds. But if you go any more over than that, that's where it starts to add and correct. And like on a 5.3, it's small. The heads don't flow that great. It's going to show a lot more boost because it's a restriction. So I mean, if it had some like badass like, I don't know, if it had some like LS7 heads on here, like which you wouldn't do, but it'd show very little boost, still be out of fuel. I mean, it's a horsepower thing. On the 85, this pump can only make so much horsepower. So hopefully this will get us to where we can run that like 25, 26, 27 pounds of
50.
boost. Yeah, if you get up there at 50 pounds, yeah. I'm looking to make, I guess we should probably stop talking about boost so much because it gives people like false information.
Yeah, you really want to shoot for a target horsepower number because there's a lot of different variables. Like 30 pounds of boost doesn't really mean the same on every engine. It's really just a measurement of restriction. So this engine, if you put a really good flowing top end on it, you might only be able to make 20 pounds of boost, and the turbine will be maxed out. So your engine back pressure will go up to a point where you're at 2 to 1. So you'd have, say, 2 to 1 would be 30 pounds of boost, but 60 pounds of exhaust back pressure. So when you get to that point, the turbine is just maxed out. It won't make any more power. So you usually want to try to run them. Every turbo is different. Some are a little bit more efficient at higher drive pressure, some are less. So 1.5 to 1 is a good number to where you're not really leaning on the turbo, but at the same time, it'll still make good power.
So yeah, that's the plan. So I guess we'll stop talking about boost and we'll talk more about horsepower. This thing could go out and make like, I don't know, 750. I mean,
What did it make before?
It made like mid 600s. It had a pretty gnarly boost spike with the PID program. So if we can get that worked out, it didn't really do it at the track. I don't know if it's the way the dyno loads it or what, but it was making like 600 out the back. So if we can go and make like 700, 725, I'd be pretty happy with it. I know 800 horsepower in a car like this, if you get the chassis all figured out, I mean, you can go like 530s, 540s. We haven't obviously been maximizing the chassis or trying to go fast because we've been going like 140, 60 foot. So we haven't been on some good tracks, and we've literally been out there.
Don't even have good tires on it either, really.
I got a set of tires we're gonna put on there, and then if we can go after the 330, go after the 60, the car should run 5s, no problem. Like on this horsepower level. So if we can get another 100 horsepower out of it, and go quick in the short time, we should be able to go, like mid 5s, which I feel like for something I'm gonna give to someone. If you've never owned a car, going mid 5s is literally going to be like getting strapped to a rocket. I mean, it really is. You see us, like, we got there and run, a low 4. We got there and run 150, 160 out the back. Like, that looks fast on camera. So if you watch a bunch of that and you watch this, doesn't look fast. But, I mean, going in the 8th mile, going 115 miles an hour, I mean, that's getting it. I mean, you got to look at
There's a lot of people at drag race that's never been a 5.
Yeah, I mean, like a new 5th gen Camaro will go like 65 miles an hour in the 8th. Everyone in the comments will be like, no, mine goes 72. But like, anyway, it takes a lot to go fast. So I think giving away a 5-second car. My goal is I want to give away a 4-second car, but before I can do that, I got to give away a 5-second car. And this is going to be it. So we've been like 16s so far on this boost. So trying to just make it a little bit better. I think the other thing I might need to do is put a front shock on it so we have some adjustment. Don't really have much adjustment in the front. Can't get to do what I want to do. So if we take it to the track now, it doesn't do what we want to do, I'll put a front shock on it. But the goal right now is put on the dyno. Matt is a really good tuner, and he's going to help me a little bit because I'm just kind of, copy and pasting and, just letting Holly do his thing. So we're pretty mild on timing too.
So you're telling me Lakewoods are next?
Lakewoods for the front might be.
Some 9010s?
Yes, they might be.
Boy.
We're talking, we want
9010s, all the travel.
Yeah, we want all the travel. Right now, I thought it'd have way more travel being a stock front shock, but it literally, like, it's got like 2 or 3 inches, and then it's just...
We're going to be pulling the wheelies.
Yeah, that's the plan. I want to rip this fuel pump off, so...
Now we're talking.
Yeah, so if you guys pay attention, you might learn something in this video. You already heard Matt talk a little bit about engine back pressure and all that stuff, so... yeah, get ready. We're going to cook some hot dogs off this exhaust and make some horsepower. We're over here looking at this awesome tune-up. Wait, what do we want to start off with dome pressure-wise? Should we start 15? 15's like,
That's kind of where you left off.
Let's check fuel pressure first, make sure we're
going to verify. Fuel pressure's kind of not necessary to make horsepower. Actually, it's extremely necessary to make horsepower. Let's check that. We got to get the fan up here, and then the TV on, the computer screen on, and then we're going to make some serious muscle.
Outback, 750 double pumper, Edelbrock intakes, scored over 30, 11-1 pop-up pistons, turbojet, 390 horsepower. We're talking some bucking muscle.
You want a mechanical gauge to verify fuel pressure, or what are we looking to do to verify?
No, verify that it's not dropping after you run with the boost pump.
Oh, 15 it shouldn't drop. Once we get up to 20,
Okay, is that
then
what
we
it dropped
see
last time?
20
yeah.
where it drops.
Well, 20. So the issue is like it overboosts a little bit.
Work on the pivot loop to make sure that we
Yeah.
don't have the other boost.
It overboosts by like 5 pounds, and then it's like
Yeah,
it hammers it in the middle with like 20% correction, and then it pulls out like
High number
12%.
was too low.
And then when you get like when it's on 20
Did you
pounds of
correct
boost,
No.
You want to do that real quick?
Yeah,
Add
if
a
you
little
want to
bit.
mess with it, because it's like in the middle of the pull, when it starts getting like drive pressure on top of the gate, it doesn't pull out fast enough.
pull out game,
So it'll like
weak,
yeah,
Pull
very
out game weak.
very weak pull out.
Lead to
game.
a lot of problems.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Expensive problems.
expensive. It literally.
I think
hey,
it's like 1.8 or something. It needs to be
if your dome pressure has a weak pull out game, it will be expensive.
Ask Phil.
That's Phil. What's up? My question to you is: the Terminator is not as badass as for most people, the Terminator's fine. But if you data log on the ECU,
The ECU has a lot of data logging capabilities, but if you really want to expand it, and if you're doing like shock travel and additional pressure sensors and transmission data, you become limited on the amount of inputs that the Terminator X can have. But there's some workarounds. You can use a Pro Dash now,
Yeah, and
and
you
the
can
Pro
get a
Dash can
couple
go
more
over
inputs,
CAN
outputs.
bus, so you can get some more inputs. So there's a few things you can do.
I
But
love the Terminator. My only beef is if you put the laptop up to it and you data log, it does not have a learn table for that pass.
yeah,
So, for our application, do we want a learn table right now, or
No, I
we'll just
don't-
let it self-correct and we'll get a data log and then we can make
no,
some...
we're going to tune it to where if the ECU was doing no correction, that the tune would be correct, and then that way, the closer you get the base map, the better you are. That way, the O2 is not having to do a lot of correction. You're not doing a lot of learning. For some people, the learn table is good because they don't have a dyno, and the only thing they can do is go drive around on the street. But with us having the dyno and we can load it and do everything we need to, we can get the base map exactly where it needs to be.
So it's not going to be correcting like 18% anymore going down track.
No,
My
we-
biggest issue was I'd make a pull and I'd make a change and then the fuel pressure would change and that messes up your whole... It's like impossible to get a solid base map.
Yeah, you gotta have solid fuel pressure. You gotta have fuel pressure that doesn't drop. Everything has to be working correctly for the learn table to work correctly. It's a great tool. Holly did a good job on it, but they just assume that you're not having issues with your setup. So if you are having some weird learn table stuff, it's probably a mechanical issue. And the same thing too. Also, I get a lot of people that they'll call me a year later and say, my car's running weird, I need the tune fixed. Well, if if the car is the same mechanical condition, the tune will always be the same. So if you have a car and it starts running weird, it's not the tune. It's something that's changed with your setup mechanically.
Holley didn't build their system for people that are running out of fuel pump.
That's right. So that's a very common issue. That's probably on the dyno. That's one of the most common issues that I run into is the fuel pump, especially with ethanol based vehicles or alcohol like methanol. It takes a lot more fuel volume, and
Most people don't understand how much.
The one thing that you'll really need to look at on your fuel system, when you buy a fuel pump, you'll see like these ratings like 1500 horsepower, 1800 horsepower, and those ratings are on gasoline and usually carbureted. So that's going to be the maximum amount you could ever make on a pump. So when you go fuel injected, the number drops, and when you go to ethanol based fuel, it drops even more. So don't be confused when you know the pump says it'll make 1500 and you go on the dyno and it only makes 700, because it's a way
Literally
it's
throwing shade at me right here.
Yeah, marketing ploy a little bit. So just keep that in mind, that always want to overdo your fuel system. That's something that you don't want to skimp on.
Don't just put a boost pump on it. Put another fuel pump on it. Get the right fuel pump out the gate.
Booster pump's definitely capable.
Booster pump?
It's been around for a long time. It's some people say it's a band-aid, but it's something that will cheaply, if you don't want to change your pump and change your fuel system, you can squeeze a little bit more out of it.
This thing's essentially an 0304 Cobra right now.
Yeah, it's pretty common with the 0304 Cobra guys. The Kenny Bell booster pump, some of the other ones. So it'll work.
All right, so we're gonna do 15 pounds of dome pressure, which should be like high 500, low 600 horsepower. Timing, I'd say, is like relatively conservative. We did change target air fuel, fatten it up a little bit, and we're just going to let it rip. We're looking for make some steady horsepower, and we're just making sure that the fuel pressure is not going to fall off. So that's like our goal tonight, is be able to go up in boost and go up in horsepower and not have fuel pressure issues.
Yep.
And if we do, tomorrow's video will be putting the most plus on it.
Most plus.
All right.
15 on the dome. It's time to make some muscle.
Some bucking muscle.
Look at Phil. Phil is like, I'm impressed, getting no work done. And
No, I'm getting work done. I got a drill in my hand.
he's like the state guy. I got my shovel in my hand.
Hey, John, come here. Come here.
We haven't worked
No.
since some dyno.
Look at Phil's pecker extender.
Why is everybody running with somebody's pecker?
Look at his pecker extender.
Holy smokes. Dude, you're going to trip all the beams with that. If you don't eat it before the race.
Eat it right there like that.
Your pecker extender.
Don't talk over me.
Tell him.
So, welcome back. Part 2. The dyno computer quit. Probably a video card went bad, so I'm using my tough book and we're gonna rock and roll.
Literally 20 miles an hour first pull on the dyno computer shop. We got that far into
It makes that much power?
Yeah, it made that much power.
Start a log.
Bruh.
I know on the dyno?
Yeah.
Like,
Did you I mean,
bruh, I thought the bitch
ask him what it feels like.
I thought that bitch was about to come off the dyno.
It feels good in here. It's making some raw American horsepower.
Some muscle. No, honestly, tell him it's like riding a really old roller coaster. It's like
a wooden roller coaster.
It's like riding a really old, like rusty ass roller coaster where you're just like, ah! Like he's in here just like helpless.
Phil, get in the back seat.
640 horsepower.
Wow.
I'm like, it's a 5.3. I'm like 16 pounds. What do you want from it?
Oh, I mean, it's pretty healthy.
More muscle.
More muscle.
Fucking some bucking muscle.
You want more muscle?
More muscle.
We're
Yeah, it made like it made 635.
We're gonna. I mean, is that not respectable for a 5.3 with a
I mean, that's what my shit made on the manual, so it's pretty good.
Is that why you were so slow?
This is what hey, hold on. This is what you're made on like 23 pounds.
No, my car made 650 on 15 pounds on an S475.
He was on T4. He was.
S475.
Whoa.
Fat as hell. We're gonna look at some data. I'm gonna make some educated decisions.
Educated
Oh, God.
guesses.
Hey.
We're gonna ask a professional how the log look.
It's pretty good. You can tell the converter is causing it to have some issues because it couples pretty quick and it puts it.
It loads the damn.
It loads it very quick. You know, you wouldn't have that load at the track, so work around that a little bit. But other than that, the once it couples, the fuel correction's at like 2%, so we're pretty close there.
So my tune-up is spot on.
Yeah, it's good. Rich it up. We're like 1080 air fuel ratio at the back. I always like to run it, you know, richer. That way, you know, you have your collective air fuel ratio. You don't have a cylinder that could be a little lean.
I do like the flame. I'm not gonna lie, it's a nice touch. It's like the dot on an exclamation point. Without it, it's kind of like
This is plain.
you're like you're
Gives
left.
it the zing.
Yes, exactly. You're left wanting more.
Yeah. So, all right, let's.
Well, I'm proud of you.
What?
Got the tune spot on.
Yeah, let's put a couple or 10 pounds of boost in it, and
Now we're talking.
we'll go from there.
Now it's
What are
party
we
time.
timing wise?
That's like 15 degrees of timing. It's very conservative.
At what point do we want to start adding timing into it opposed to cramming boost? I mean, it's horsepower, so it doesn't matter like boost and timing. I mean, it's just gonna make more cylinder pressure. But what?
I like to err toward the more boost and less timing. So let's put 2 more pounds of boost in it. So we'll put 2 more on the dome, and then we can check it. Now, if you really want to, 3.
I mean, we're here to party.
Okay.
Is 3 still?
We're here for a good
I mean,
time,
if
not
you're
a
here
long
to
time.
party, you 6.
I run 20 on the dome
Okay,
before.
we can do that.
And that's when the issue with running 20 on the dome is it made 20 pounds of boost. Well, I know the air's better.
It is. Let's go to 18.
Yeah, let's go to 18. Yeah, see? You got it. This is why.
So what was it? It was at 16 on the dome or 15?
15 on the dome.
Okay. So going to 16. What?
18.
18.
You'll have diminishing returns, so it's not like you put 1 pound on the dome and you gain 1 pound. Eventually, once you get to a limiting factor on the turbine, you'll get to where it's like down low, you might add 1 pound on the dome, you get 1 pound, but when you're up, you know, 30 pounds of boost or 25, you might have to add 5 on the dome to get 1 pound of boost.
It's becoming less efficient,
Yeah,
basically.
it plateaus, and once you get to the like we were talking about back pressure, once you get to that like 1.5, 2 to 1, you'll have like 60 on the dome to make 30 pounds of boost. So that's the thing. But don't get caught up on a boost number. Every combo is different. Cylinder head flow, you know, is a huge part in it. Camshaft design, intake manifold. There's so many variables. So don't just get caught up like, oh, this car's on 40 pounds of boost and this car's on 10. That's really, you know, that's only one part of the equation. You got to get the whole combo to really understand what the boost numbers are. Now, if you had like something that had a amazing top end and it flowed a bunch and you're making 30 pounds of boost, the thing's probably making a ton of power.
Some serious muscle.
Yeah, but if you got a stock cylinder head, which LS, you know, even though it is stock cylinder heads, they do flow pretty good, so that's not a problem for the LS. And you get into some small block Fords, they don't flow that great, but I have made 900 horsepower on a completely stock bottom end 302. You can go check it out, Project Stock Bottom End.
Internet is triggered.
Yes.
Repeat that so everyone can hear that. For all my Ford fans.
900 horsepower, completely stock bottom, 302. We've been 8th mile, we've run races, we went quarter mile, Z-Max went all the way to finals with Cletus. It's made 50 plus dyno pulls. The
block is not cracked down the lift.
We're talking about not a Coyote.
No,
about
like a 1992 5.0, completely stock bottom end, oil pan, oil pump, valve train. The only thing that's been changed is the cam and the heads. So,
AKA the split down the middle.
Yeah, that
the
thing
ones
is like the hog
one-
splitter.
Yes,
Yeah.
the ones they say that 500 horsepower and you can't make a horsepower over it. That one, 900 horsepower multiple times on dyno. Time slips to back it up. It is not. It doesn't have a girdle. It's not filled. It is completely stock bottom end. So pretty impressive. But that's one of the things, you know, you really watch everything very closely on something like that. There's no room for error, so yeah, you can't be over time. You can't rev them high because the stock through it is a 50-ounce balance, so anything over like 6,300, it can cause some harmonics. So I think that it's more to do with a harmonics issue than a power issue, because you can tear apart anything with harmonics. You know, it's
Yeah, what's your thought on turning this thing 7,000?
I think that's doable. We need to see how much power it makes up. You don't want to turn it any higher than you need to. So if the thing stops making power at 65, there's no advantage of going to 7,000 RPM. So you're just hurting the motor, you're hurting the valve train. You want to try to keep the RPM as low as you need to. Now, sometimes you might need to rev it out, like if you're trying to obtain a certain 1/8 mile speed and you need to twist it a little bit higher, that's one thing. But if you're just driving around the street, keep the limiter low, because it's a lot harder on the motor and you're not going to really see that many gains by revving the engine too far.
So there's less benefit than there is reward.
To a point, yes.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard on all the parts. An engine, you know, RPM can kill it. This has got Gen 4 rods, so they're pretty tough. You know, I've revved them higher than that. I've revved them 75, but the hydraulic roller stuff, unless you get into some like short travel, you know, really race specific stuff, it's probably not going to want to make a ton of power up top. But we'll look at the logs, we'll look at the dyno graph, and we'll kind of see where the power's falling off, and then probably tailor the shift point to that. So, but yeah, we'll put some 18 in the dome.
Now we're talking. Make some
See what it
power.
is. And if you didn't know, Holley also has a self-driving feature like a Tesla, so I'm just going to crank it up and it's going to do a dyno pull by itself. It's pretty cool stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll drive you to breakfast or whatever you need to do.
Dome pressure. We had no.
We only made 400.
Yeah, it was wasted. Either we're out of CO2.
Can you just blow into it?
Just right now. So something happened and the target boost is at zero. Like, is that like arm? Like
This is arm, yes. This is arm CO2.
So that, with that off?
No, it was on.
Was the boost controller on?
Like right now, it should be like.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, listen, it's got. The Mac valves aren't working.
You know what, Phil? You don't even know how to crimp anything.
I know,
so.
right? All right, we have multiple issues going on. We had Wes with a GoPro issue. We had a boost control issue, and then we realized it's actually not a boost control issue. It's Phil has the world's weakest hands, and as Matt would say, we need a toddler to come over here to crimp this a little bit harder because Phil crimped he put a wire on a toggle switch, and it didn't make it.
It works for a while until you see these damn boots he's got on. He kicked off a bunch of shit down here.
You know what, Phil? He said he doesn't care you broke your elbow.
Yeah, he does not care that you broke your elbow. Say it. Say it to him, Matt.
I don't care you broke your elbow.
You know what? I'm about to say it.
Say it. Say it.
I don't care that you broke your elbow.
We literally had a critical failure. Everything failed at once. Boost controller didn't work. Phil's crimp didn't work. GoPro didn't work. And computer died.
Is this a pad?
Yeah, no, I put this there. This comes for a fan. I got tired of dinging up my helmet. So I put that there and it saves my helmet.
I need a.
What kind of laugh was that?
Get closer to him as he's laughing.
Yo,
What is wrong with that? I got tired of scratching my painted helmet. I paid some guy like $800 to paint my helmet.
What are those?
I don't know.
No, so when you buy a radiator or when you buy a fan from AutoZone for $60, they come with these. They got a little hole in it, and that's what you like put in there with a little zip tie for your fan for your radiator. And I got bored and I was at Forest House, so I stuck them on there and I banged my head off it, and it didn't leave a mark. So
It's okay, John, if you need to use pads.
From here, it looks like the lead wheel weights.
all right, the ground came off. And there's the fix. I bet we can honestly race like that too.
Probably.
If it did come off, though, you'd have to reach over down track and like ground it.
Yeah, or just hold it, or have a passenger hold it.
So there's our ground.
Yeah.
And we're back to making some serious muscle.
Some bucking muscle.
So, all right, 700 this pole. Here we go.
700? Horsepower.
Oh shit! It made 1100.
John.
It made 1100. Yeah, not bad.
John. You only made 20 more horsepower.
That's all right. We actually were testing our boost cut, and it worked great. You guys hear it cut out at first?
It made 688.
658, wasn't it?
Nah, 688. It peaked 688, but overall 650.
I mean, right, I was spot on the number right there. Let's see how much boost it picked up. Did you hear it cutting out when I would hit it first?
Oh, that's what a spike is, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're clicking it.
Does it spike? Does it ramp up and then come back down?
Yeah, it's like the way the converter couples and the way it loads on the dyno, it's just like a shit storm inside that transmission.
So that was 19 pounds of boost.
So we only went up like 2 pounds.
Yeah, so it's 3 times the dome pressure.
So, yeah, so, well, like, yeah, no, that's right. Like, I was running 20 and 20 pounds of boost, so, I mean, we're still good there. Let's put,
Fuel pressure's good.
let's put more on it.
Yeah, let's, normally I would say, you know, if we knew we had the fuel pump and everything was good, that we can make a large change, but let's keep going with 3. That way we would see a issue with the fuel pressure sooner, because you don't want to have an issue and it's really trying to make some power.
Yeah.
So
I mean, what did I say? 680, 685? I think I said 685, 690, so we were spot on right there.
Yeah.
Phil's trying to down us right now. Like, he's trying to make our power gains feel minimal. And I don't appreciate that, because that was a great power gain right there.
he must be a hater.
He is. Are you a
Does
hater?
he drive a model?
Are you that nervous?
Just in case. I'm never nervous, but you know, John's will do it.
$712.
I don't care what you say. That's way rowdier. What happened? It's just like we're just creeping up on it. That's 22 pounds dome.
I got up to 722.
I think it spun. Did it spin?
Nah. No.
We need to get that stick-em-all on there.
Nah.
It's like, is it slightly terrifying in there? It's like, literally, this car is that Simpsons meme. Where he's riding the bus. We're in danger now.
I'm in danger.
Yeah, that's what it's like. It is dude, in there. The damn gates opened up and blowing shit everywhere.
What'd you think, Arthur?
The last one was really pissed.
The last one sounded strong, didn't it?
It sounded like some bitch about to come apart.
Dude, that booster pump's no joke. Damn, Kenny Bell.
Yeah, let's put a VAP on the damn Grand National.
Let's put a booster pump on the fan. the thing would actually pull it. Like, you don't need a push
Bro,
release.
look, you gotta look at this. Would you just look at it? Look at it from the outside. When I shake, is when I hide behind the toolbox even further. Pretty much when the gates open up.
Dude, how rowdy is it when they open up? That's pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, mind you, at the track we went 6.0s on 15 or like 16 pounds. So,
All right, so let it cool for a second and then do 25 on the dome.
$753.
How much?
$753.
God, how pissed did that thing sound?
It sounded like it was about to come off the dyno.
we have all of a sudden the dome pressure stuff just started going nuts. Like the MAC valves, like couldn't get control of them. Stuff was going crazy, and I think we got a piece of trash in the solenoids where like it was.
Yeah, I raised the dome pressure up high and then capped my finger over it, and it seems to
Like it wouldn't seal, and then got to seal. But I'm sure we had a 32-pound, 33-pound boost spike.
no, it still spikes at 28.
That's
so-
where it's starting to.
Yep. So that boost was 24 pounds.
That's about all she wrote. Only
How much?
767.
It's spinning on the dyno. Yeah.
If you understand, you know.